Hi there guys, hope you're all well and welcome back to another video. This video is going to be on how to identify and trade the strongest levels possible in the Forex market. I'm not going to overcomplicate it. I'm going to go over a few different time frames, so a few different examples for you. Probably mainly just on gold because gold does like market structure. So before I do get into the actual video itself, I just want to say on the DVS FX Instagram, there is a giveaway. So if you want to be entered into a draw to win three-month subscription into the analysis group, and also 50% discount off anything on the site. So there's something free, and then obviously a discount code as well. Follow the link in the description. All you need to do is comment on an Instagram post and you're pretty much entered into it. So the first link will be in the description. If possible, you can click off this video, go enter that quickly on Instagram, and then obviously come back to the video. So when we are wanting to identify the strongest levels in the market, the best way that I like to identify it, and let me just go onto this tool here, is finding an area where price is respected multiple times. So for example, something like this, where price has respected an area multiple times, they will always be the strongest levels. Now, before we get into it, this is not always going to happen. So it's not going to be just as simple, I wish it was, as finding a level which every single time it gets hit, something happens, because it's just not. There are certain levels in the market where price is going to react over and over, and we will try to find a few examples of that. But the strongest levels you are ever going to identify is almost levels of continued support and resistance, supply and demand, however you want to look at it. That is how it is looking. Now, it may well be that you have an example like this, but sometimes price doesn't respect it perfectly. So price might go through the level, bit of drawdown or whatever, and then come back out. But that's why you should use other confluences and potential entry signals to obviously validate these areas. These areas are just places that you can say, if price gets to this level, I am expecting some form of reaction. So that is it without a chart example. All I'll do now is simply go on to a chart and have a look. Now, I'm trying to think what we'll do. These areas do tend to work best, and I want to rewind it just because I can zoom in a bit then and it's not going to be as messy. So the best way for me, I have found, is obviously we are just wanting to see where price continuously bounces. So the best way, in my experience, instead of just going over it and trying to go through it with a fine comb, is draw a zone at the top of your chart. So then this zone here, let me just do this, is set. And then all you want to do is basically just come down the chart until you find an area where price is respected quite a few times. Now, you can maybe go off 2. Obviously, 3 is better, but it just depends on how big the reactions were. So if I'm coming down here, I want to stop where price seems to have been respected quite a few times. And this is almost a good area. So every time price has hit this 1960 area, the past 2 times, there's been a huge reaction. The first time it went from 1960 all the way down to 1760. And then the second time it hit, it went from 1959 and pretty much dropped all the way down to 1670. So I already know that this is a strong level in the market. Then what I can do is just duplicate this. So then I clicked Control and then I dragged. And once again, go down until I find an area where price is respected multiple times. What can we see? We've had support, support, support. A few reactions in and around here. So like I said, sometimes price may break through it. That's okay. And then once again, we had a touch here. Break and retest a touch there. And we've had some more touches here. So already, I've found 2 areas in the market that I could potentially use to find some trades. And then once again, I'm going to duplicate it and move down my chart. Somewhere which has stood out to me just then from looking here And again, sometimes it's going to be on the as resistance, sometimes it's going to be as support. If it's easier for you, maybe go one from the top and drag down, and then one from the bottom, and then obviously something like that. So then you're getting the supports and the resistances. So we'll do that. So we've found 2 areas here. We've found another area there. Let's go down once again. And as previously stated, this is going to be an area. Now, some people may say that they'd go off somewhere like that. However, what you want to do is average out the touches. So you can see I could have done that and said, oh, touch, touch. However, we also had a touch there and also a touch here. So we've had tap, 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 and then continuous taps. And then here, once again, it worked. So I could say that if I see price come up to 1860, potentially, I could see a reaction. So that is that one there then. Now let's go up from the bottom again and try to find some support levels. Let's have a look. So just looking at here, I can see there's been a bit of support here, a bit of support here, support here. Obviously we wicked through there down to obviously 1680, and then we had another zone here. So already you can see these areas are actually quite far apart as well. So you can trade in between these levels. So as well, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to look at one more and just see if I can find one more. I can see that there's 2 bottoms here. So all I'll do is drag my zone to average them out and then look right. So if I look right here, I can see, look, a near miss, a touch, a touch, a touch, and then a tap and a tap. And you can see just this week, price has rejected of this area. So that's perfect. We're going to go off that. That's fine. And I say this week, sorry, we're in replay mode, aren't we? So then as well, if I'm looking here, I can see we seem to have had a reaction here, 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 here. So let me just draw a zone, and then off that, let's see what happened. So we've got an area here, an area there, an area there. Tap, tap, taps here and then breaks through. So yeah, I am happy now with these areas. So you can see just from going from the top of my chart down to the bottom and then from the bottom to the top, I've identified these areas within the market. And it's not to say that these areas are going to work every single time. It's like you might add a 50 EMA to the mix. So this might be your confluence. So you've got your zone here. Price came, tapped the zone. You can see there was a nice reaction. You can see here there was a reaction, break, retest of the zone with the EMA. You can see again here, EMA reacting to the zone once again. So you can see how strong even just a 50 EMA is. So that could be a confluence. Your confluence could potentially be, let's have a look. And I'm going to draw it from here. So for me, that fib's invalid because the 61's already been filled. And then what you could say is, for example, if you've got something here, you can see, look, price from this push, pulled back, hit the 61 and this key level here. And obviously you'd have had a nice trade if you'd have gone off the key level. You can target the next key level. And then obviously your stop loss could be below this low here. And like even that, for example, would just be a 2-to-1. Simple as that. So that is an example of how you could enter, but what I want to do is mainly stick this video around how well the zones are actually respected. So if I now go over these, and what I'll do, I will extend them right. Because now what we can do, we can play out the replay tool. And again, I don't know what's going to happen here. This could bite me in the ass, but we'll see. We're simply just going to extend all these right, because then I can just replay the data and see exactly how price reacts at these areas now. So if I just put the playback speed to every 1 second, we can just see now how price reacts. So it may well be a break and retest. You can see price did pull back from this area. Then it may well be price comes back down here to retest and a bounce, or like this, it slams through. So you can see there, wick, tap, react. And these areas, once again, tap, reaction. So all I'm doing now is playing out these areas, and we can simply see, and let me speed it up, we can simply see that price likes to respect these areas. If you are just simply now watching what price does when it touches these zones, it's it's easy stuff. So this is the daily time frame. We'll just have a look and see if any other zones work. So you see there, near miss, comes back, retest the area. There was a reaction there. Break, retest there. Bit of a spike out. Once again, price pulled back from here. News candle. And then look. And then obviously price then has started absolutely flying. So you can see just from the spot here where I drew the actual areas, price respected these levels multiple times. And this is on the daily time frame. So you can pick and choose which time frame you want. That was an example on the daily. I'll remove these drawings. I'll go on to the 4 hour. And let me just see. I'll go back to somewhere like here. And let's just have a look at the 4 hour. And once again, what we're going to do, we will start at the top. Obviously, depending on the actual market structure and how the market is currently moving, you might have more or less zones in certain areas. But let's have a look. So if we draw our zone at the top, let's see, do we have an area of multiple resistances? So for example, here, you can see we've had a tap, a tap, a tap, break out and break back in, bit of liquidity grabbing. Once again, it was tapped. So then now if we go from the bottom to the top, we're trying to find multiple touches of an area. And let me just have a look here. I think that looks like a good area. So we've had support, support, bit of mess about, resistance, and then support again. Super simple stuff. Let's then go down once again and see if we can find any areas where there has been multiple resistances. We've had one here and one there. So I would say that looks like a good level to me for the future. So that's one. Now let's go try find some more supports. If we can. So here, I can see we've had support, resistance, 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 support, support. And I know some of you are going to be watching this now just thinking, how is he seeing these so easily? Obviously, I've been trading for a while and plotting these levels for a while, so it is going to be a bit easier for me. When you're watching this, don't be alarmed, don't be scared away by these levels. You will, with practice, be able to plot them just as easily as I am in this video, okay? So this support here, so got support, resistance, 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 resistance. See, price broke through it. Just because we have a level here, it does not mean that price has to stop there. If it wants, it will slam through. Break, retest there, came back, and once again did that. And then let's just see, do we have any others? You could potentially have an area here. So you've had support, support, and then resistance. So a nice area. And usually you'll find, guys, if you have a huge gap in levels like this, you can usually just look in between them and usually find a decent area, but not every time. So for example, like this here, I've got loads of supports here. So I'm just going to see if we average them out. So we've had wick, 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 all these supports, resistance, 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 support. So these areas here I am happy with. And I would probably say that price was pretty much just bouncing in between these areas besides that here. So again, if we average them out, tap, 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 and then tap again. So these are the areas once again. So if and again, the lower the time frame, the more volatile these moves are going to be. So don't expect these areas to be as well respected as the daily ones, okay? The higher the time frame, the better and more reliable the levels are. So if you can just stick to trading daily levels, your trading is going to be absolutely insane. So let's just play these out and let's see what happens. Simply seeing what does price do when these levels are hit. So you can see as you're watching these prices, look, pulling back. We had a bit of a spike out and reaction there. We reacted off this level where the price is stalling. Break, retest there. Big reaction from the level. And you can see just from looking at these here, you can just see how well price likes these certain levels. Look, price is literally just ping-ponging between these areas. So once again, came up, slammed through this level, reacted to the next one. Another thing you tend to find, if price smashes through one key level, there's a good chance, and this isn't every time, so don't use this as a strategy, but if price breaks and slams through one key level, there's a good chance that it may react at the next. So if you can build confluence at that level, so for example, maybe if I get a Fibonacci, what can we see? So for example, something like this, you see the 38 fib here, that trade just looked to have lost. Let me just do that. So that trade would have lost. However, if you'd have entered on the 50 fib on your key level, that trade would have won. So you can see there, you're starting to build up ideas of trades. If we just have a look like we did on the previous example, if I just get a 50 EMA on my chart, what can we see? You see when price hits these areas, reaction, reaction, obviously that one at the level, reaction at the level, break, that's a liquidity spike. So you can see when price breaks out and then slams straight back in, there's a good chance you are just basically getting some liquidity grabbed. That is actually a very good entry signal if you can find it. If price breaks out of a key level and straight back into it, the liquidity has been grabbed. And then with something like that, you could maybe, if you want to target the next key level up, or even obviously extended targets like that. So this video isn't about entry signals, it's simply about how to identify the levels. So you draw your area at the top, go down the chart. Obviously, as you get more experienced, you will just be able to draw the zones like I pretty much just have. But you saw at the start, what you want to do is draw a zone at the top of your chart, and then just go down like so until you think you reach an area where there's been multiple touches. And then once you've done that, simply going down until you've reached an area with multiple touches like so. And then yeah, that is literally all you need to do to find these good areas. And then once again for your supports. So as previously mentioned, if you do want to enter the free giveaway on the Instagram for 3 months free access into the analysis group, you'll get obviously charts broken down, trade ideas, everything like that. If you are interested in that, then click the link in the bio. It's going to be the first link. All you have to do, comment, like the post, share it, and then you are pretty much entered. And the draw will be on the 31st. So I think that's a Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken. And then following that, Tuesday the 31st. Following that, one person will be added into the groups for 3 months free of charge, and will be given a 50% discount code for any one-to-ones if they want them. So thank you very much for watching the video, guys. If you have any questions at all, drop them in the comments, and we'll see you in the next